Good afternoon and welcome to the 2016 Lunch with Our Leader event featuring the LA County Supervisor, Don Knabe. Today's a little bittersweet. Yes, applause is appropriate, very much so. Today is a little bittersweet as it will be our last opportunity to hear from him in this setting, certainly. But we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. I want to introduce myself. I'm Jack Folkert. I am the chair of the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors for the 2015-2016 season. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. We're very glad to have such a full room for this exciting event. As I mentioned, today is Supervisor Knabe's final update to the Torrance business community as a supervisor. So we're going to take a brief moment to show our appreciation for him and his great partnership and all of his leadership, and look forward to hearing from him about some exciting updates that will directly impact the South Bay business community. Before we do that, I want to take a moment and recognize the sponsors who make events like today happen. Without them, we couldn't host events like today. So I want to just share the list of sponsors that were responsible for the event today. And if we could hold our applause until the end and then recognize them together, that would be great. The presenting sponsor for today is UCLA Health. The additional sponsors for the event are Toyota Motor Sales, Exxon Mobil Corporation, Continental Development Corporation, Torrance Memorial Medical Center, Laborers International Union of North America, Kaiser Permanente, Malaga Bank, Green Hills Memorial Park, Pelican Products, Providence Little Company of Mary Medical Center Torrance, South Bay Yellow Cab Co-op, The Daily Breeze, Doubletree by Hilton Hotel Torrance South Bay, Armitra Properties, and Mobile Visual Entertainment. Please join me in thanking our sponsors. And at this time, I'd like to invite a couple of people to join me on stage. Serena Joselle, Emma Werfelman, Sophia Vigiano, and Kirk Rosberg will join me to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, National Anthem, and Invocation. So if you would all please join me in standing.
Good afternoon. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Good afternoon, everybody. As we bow our heads, let's take a moment to quiet our minds and our hearts. Dear God, thank you for life. We are grateful for all the wonderful things that you have bestowed upon us. Thank you for this great city and county in which we live and work. Inspire us to use our talents to be good stewards through our service to the community and to be a positive influence for those who will follow us in the years to come. Amen.
Thank you, Serena, Emma, Sophia. Amazing, beautiful. Thank you, Kirk. Appreciate your contribution to today's program. At this time, I want to acknowledge our distinguished guests who are attending today's event. And it's a lengthy list, so again, if we could save our applause until the end. I know it's very exciting. Lunch is in the room, and that's always very exciting. But if you could please join me in recognizing our elected officials who have joined us for today's event. We'll recognize everyone as a group at the end. So our elected officials joining us today. Today's guest speaker, Los Angeles County 4th District Supervisor Don Knabe, City of Torrance Mayor Patrick Fury, City of Lomita Mayor Jim Gaisley, City of Torrance Council members Jean Barnett, Mike Griffiths, Heidi Ashcraft, Kurt Wiedemann, and Jeff Rizzo, City Treasurer of Torrance Dana Cortez, City Clerk of Torrance Rebecca Poirier, City Clerk of Gardena Nina Semenza, former elected officials, former City Torrance Mayor D. Hardison, former Redondo Beach Mayor Mike Ginn, representatives from the elected offices, Sam Leger from the office of 33rd District Congressman Ted Lieu, Sam Lieu from the office of 26th District Senator Benjamin Allen, James LaForche from the office of 35th District State Senator Isidore Hall III, Eric Matos from the office of 66th District Assemblyman David Hadley, from the office of LA County Supervisor Don Knabe, we have joining us Steve Napolitano, Cheryl Burnett, and Andrew Valles. Also in attendance today, we have Penelope Cornwall, Chair of the Los Angeles County Aviation Commission, Terry Nishimura, member of the Los Angeles County Policy Roundtable for Child Care and Development, City of Torrance Manager Leroy Jackson, City of Torrance Fire Chief Martin Cerna, City of Torrance Police Chief Mark Matsuda, past Torrance Chamber of Commerce Chairman and Chairwomen Steve Cummins, Sherry Kramer, Mark Applegate, and Heidi Cunningham. And then finally, I'd like to ask all current board members of the Chamber, please stand to be recognized. Join me in recognizing this group. Thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate you investing your time to be here today. And before we jump into lunch, which I know is arrived, and there's a lot of excitement around that, on your table you'll find a card. It's a social media information card. If you haven't already found that, please take a moment to look for it. We would like to encourage everyone to take pictures throughout the day, to post updates throughout the day. The hashtag that we're using for this event is #LunchWithOurLeader. If you don't follow the Torrance Chamber on Facebook and Twitter, please, we would like to invite you to do so and add your pictures and add your comments. And then finally, I'd like to thank the Daily Breeze and Torrance City Cable 3 for covering today's event. And with that, I would like to invite you all to enjoy your lunch, and I'll be back in a bit. On behalf of UCLA Health today, I would like to say that we're very happy to be a presenting sponsor for this event today. We're very happy to be part of the Torrance business community, and it is my great privilege to introduce our guest speaker for today. Supervisor Don Knabe was first elected to the LA County Board of Supervisors in November of 1996, and then was overwhelmingly reelected in 2004, 2008, and 2012. He represents the 4th District, which is a uniquely diverse area that is home to over 2 million residents. And he's spent much of his political career working to protect the innocent and vulnerable children in Los Angeles County. As many of us know, he established Safe Surrender Program in Los Angeles County, which allows infants to be surrendered within 72 hours of birth as long as they show no signs of abuse. And since 2001, 142 babies have been safely surrendered in LA County, which I think is just incredible. And I personally have just always been really moved by that program. I just think it is absolutely phenomenal program to protect the very most innocent and vulnerable members of our society. But as if that wasn't enough, in 2015, Supervisor Knabe launched a scholarship program to benefit the children who have been safely surrendered, which I think is really amazing as well. Supervisor Knabe is known as a national leader in the issue of child sex trafficking, of which we all know is a problem right here in LA County. He is also a leader in regional transportation, currently serving as the director for the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, and he's a member of the Southern California Regional Rail Authority, where he serves on the Executive Management and Audit Committee. He has a true passion for the arts and attributes much of his own personal success to an early involvement with music. His enthusiasm for the arts has resulted in the creation of several innovative youth programs, such as the Pediatric Arts Program and the Arts Education Partnership Program, which provide grants to schools and community-based organizations to fund visual art, dance, music, and theater programs for students. In 2014, Supervisor Knabe announced the start of Operation Libraries, which is a plan to invest $45 million to upgrade county libraries and communities throughout the 4th District. He's also an advocate for environmental initiatives throughout Los Angeles County. Supervisor Knabe is a veteran, having served in the United States Navy. He earned his bachelor's degree in business administration from Graceland University in Lamonia, Iowa. And he and his wife, Julie, have been married 47 years. I think that's amazing. That's incredible. Julie is a Long Beach native, and she's also the past president of Cerritos Chamber of Commerce and operates her own customer relations firm, J.D. Knabe and Associates. They have 2 married sons, and the light of their life, 4 incredible grandchildren, which we were just hearing about at the table. And so please join me in welcoming Supervisor Knabe.
I got so caught up in that introduction, I said, I know that guy. Hello, Torrance. Wow, what a turnout. Usually we're upstairs, and I'm looking out to the beautiful view over here, and so I was telling someone I was really overwhelmed by the turnout, so I appreciate all of you being here. On the one part of that bio, though, and I'm going to tell my my communication folks, I hope they would change it to the fight against child sex trafficking. They say I lead child sex trafficking. That, anyway, sort of made me a little nervous. But I want to, again, like I said, thank all of you for being here, and to Chairman Folkert and to Donna and her team for making it possible, and also to all the great sponsors that are part of this day, because I know for all the events that I do, like all of you, without sponsors, it would not happen, so I appreciate that. Also, I want to recognize my staff, Mr. Steve Napolitano, and I got more on him later. I got Cheryl Burnett, and I've got, where's Cheryl? Back there, Cheryl, and Andrew, and Ruben. Ruben is watching the chocolate suckers from Botanic Gardens, so nobody touch him, all right? Also want to give a big shout out to one of my 4th District Woman of the Year, Sherry Kramer. All right. We are going to have a big countywide thing in a couple of weeks downtown, and honored to be able to honor Sherry and all her work and she does on behalf of Continental Development, but all of the chambers and all the organizations that not only Continental supports, but she supports, not just in dollars, but in actual involvement. So, Sherry, proud to have you do that. Well, as most of you know, and this will be the real test, I'm not into sort of electronic kinds of things. So this hopefully is going to work. This will be a real test for all of you. But as all of you know, I only have less than a year left as your county supervisor. And I understand that leaving office, I talked to a couple early retirees, leaves you a lot of free time. And so I've been thinking about what I might want to do. And first of all, Mayor Fury saw this the other day, or yesterday in action. I thought about becoming a gadfly, signing up to testify in front of the Board of Supervisors. But I thought I could do better than that. And so I decided I wanted to go slightly higher. And since I have you all here right now, I wanted to announce my candidacy for the President of the United States. It's right after New Hampshire. Decided to jump in. And so, but I already have a campaign logo, I believe, to get people excited. And then with all the fundraisers and things coming up, you know, I'm only chasing 2 million people as your supervisor. President, I got to chase the whole country, right? So I'm going to expand my wardrobe. But to make sure that I'm presidential, I'm going to get a new hairdo. So I hope you'll join me on that road. It might get a little sticky. My wife says, I hope his next wife really wants to do that. Obviously, I am not a candidate. I'm on the downhill slide, everybody. But I've enjoyed every minute of it. But one of the reasons that I have not been interested in national politics and even at times state politics and really enjoy working at the local level, and for those of you in the room that are mayors or city council members, school board members, community college board trustees, whatever it may be, I think you know what I know, and we can't get involved in the silly games that they seem to play back in Washington particularly. We can't threaten to shut the government down. We can't filibuster for hours on end, although public comment does last for a very long time at times. And I know the political leadership, you get frustrated at times, and you want to know why don't they trust us, and sometimes you just see what's going on in the games to get the national attention. And so it seems to me that one of the things that you really score points at right now is sort of being bombastic, looking for outrageous headlines, and it really turns government into the latest reality shows we all see out there. And, the headline grabbing, the soundbite kinds of government that we have, and that's where things really get messy, because really solving the problems that we all confront on a daily basis, whether it's personal, whether it's your business or your job or whatever it may be, really requires working together or compromising on certain things. And it really, solving those problems really requires an authentic look at the facts that we might not like. And as your elected officials, there are a lot of facts you don't like to hear, but they're facts. And you have to deal with them, and you have to bring, people together. And solving problems is just plain hard. And nowhere is it more important than here at the local level, and particularly at the county, as the ultimate safety net. You hear me say that every year, the ultimate safety net. People don't call our office to say thank you. They call us to say they're in trouble. They're hurting. And really, they've reached the end of the rope either financially, physically, or mentally. And so that's a big responsibility. There is no Democratic, Republican, independent, or libertarian way to fix potholes, cut trees, provide health care, whether it's the public or private sector. We have many health care providers here who take a lot of our patients as well, too. There's no political way to do that. You do it. And that's what we enjoy about local government. But let me give you a few items before I get into some other details, some of the issues that we're discussing at the county. One of the big issues, you read about it in the paper today, and that's homelessness. Yesterday, we rolled out our homeless initiative. That's strategies on how to combat homelessness in Los Angeles County. We are making our second big push on this in the last 10 years. It is not an easy problem. And I think we've learned a lot in the past decade, and the most important thing that we've learned is collaboration. Working with all parties. 10 years ago, there were many cities. There were many cities that say, we don't have homelessness in our city. You do have homelessness. Just look in your parks, your bridges, your underpasses, whatever it may be. And there's a realization today throughout the county of Los Angeles and all of its 88 cities that we do have an issue, a major issue. Not only in the direct population of homelessness, but in the population of homeless veterans. We've placed over 7,000 veterans in homes in the last year and a half. And in the last count, we still have 4,000 more. They're homeless, that require treatment, require help. And so the collaboration piece of all this, it makes it so complicated. It's just not a matter of warehousing or putting somebody in a bed or giving them a bowl of soup. It's a continuum of care, the wraparound services, the assessment, whether it be the mental health issue, drug addictions, all the kinds of issues that go with them. And it reminds me of a situation that I ran into just a few weeks ago. A city councilman, one of your neighbors, called me about a homeless encampment in the middle of their city. And we sent out a team from Department of Mental Health, from LASHA, which is the Los Angeles, Supportive Housing Association that everybody works with. We sent out a team. There were 4 individuals. It took a while because the big issue is trust always in these situations. 3 of the 4 agreed to treatment. The 4th didn't. And as they went back to prepare to where they're going to put them and hook them up with the right services and things, and granted, this was in the middle of the night, when the team came back, they were all gone. They were all gone. So they went out looking for them, and they found 2 of them. And they said, no, they declined service. All right, so these are the kinds of issues. It's just not a matter, you can hold a press conference and, talk about all the money you're doing, but it's what happens afterwards. And it takes so much time. It's so labor intensive to deal with these individuals, and it's so complicated because the first thing you have to do is build trust. And so all this goes on in the middle of the night, and that's huge. And so you try to put the teams out there, but all the cities throughout the county are now on board. Mayor Fury was down there to testify on behalf of the city of Torrance, and their willingness to work with us on strategies. Other South Bay cities showed up, other cities throughout the entire county. It was absolutely historic because up to this point, like I said earlier, many folks said they didn't have that problem in their own backyard. But as I mentioned, it's not all about funding. We allocated $100 million. Sounds like a lot of money, but $50 million of that was one-time funding, all right? The second $50 million is part of a continuum of care that we're going to continue to do. So that leaves a whole lot of money we have to find in working with our providers, in working with our colleagues in the state and federal level, and putting the dollars together. Currently, and you read this the other day in the paper, we spend almost $1 billion a year on services related to homelessness. $1 billion a year. And that serves a population of close to 200,000. Now, when I say that, it's not just housing, it's not just food, it's Department of Public Social Services, Department of Children and Family Services. It's all the social services, food stamps, welfare, the whole thing, it's the whole continuum. So it is a huge issue for the County of Los Angeles. But I will tell you one thing, and I believe this with all my heart, and as committed as I am to the promise to end that, particularly for our homeless population, our homeless vets, you can't spend your way out of it. You cannot spend your way out of homelessness. It's going to take a collaborative community effort to deal with this. And so, as I said, some of it's more funding. A lot of it's NIMBY, not in my backyard. So these are all the issues that we have to. But this coordinated effort with the 88 cities throughout the county, seamless partnerships are so important to ending this horrific situation here. And this weather like this doesn't help our situation either. There are many one-way bus tickets throughout the country that are sent to Los Angeles County, and it's been validated. So Torrance, the South Bay COG, everyone has stepped up. We've got a big job ahead of us. But really what happened yesterday was an amalgamation of all kinds of things that we've learned in the last decade to build on with that better coordination, cooperation with all of our departments, organizations, jurisdictions, and all those that deal with this horrible problem. But most of all, I think it was a promise of a commitment to all of us, to all of you. It's an economic issue. The Chamber of Commerce came down in support of the program. You have homeless encampments in front of your business or next to your alleys. It is an economic issue. It's not just a social issue. It's a very significant economic issue. So, the county has you hear me say this every year, the county has a $28 billion budget, and that's huge, right? That's with a capital B. And so a lot of people think, well, what's a couple of $1 million or what's $100 million and, in that big of a pool? Well, it's critical that you understand of that $28 billion, about 85% of those dollars are spent by state and federal mandates that we are required to operate the programs on their behalf. So that really doesn't leave us a lot of wiggle room to sort of work through all these kinds of things. And I strongly support this investment. We call it an investment into what we're doing in the homeless issue. It's a big issue for all of us. But I also strongly support, I want to make sure it's sustainable. I don't want to be one of those entities that, goes out there and, the bright lights go up and you hold the press conference and yay, 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 and then you walk back and nothing ever happens. We have to make it happen, and we're going to have to do a coordinated effort. So, I look at my job as being responsible for how the tax dollars are spent, just like all the other electeds in this room. So it's important that we, look at this on a sustainable issue. It's not going to be easy. Look at the county. We weathered this last economic downturn with no layoffs and no furloughs. And we did it by cooperation with our unions. We have 68 bargaining units that we have to deal with, close to 90,000 employees that are members of the union. And we did that with teamwork, working together. Their understanding of what they needed to do on their job, our understanding of what we had left to spend. And so we wound up with the highest credit rating that we've ever received. That was absolutely unheard of during those economic downturns. And we did that by prudent spending, by putting money away during the good times and having the money necessary to do the things that we did in the downturns. We couldn't expand anything, but we hung on for dear life to do the things that we needed to do, particularly as it relates to our responsibility. Trust me, my job is a lot more than coming to your events and handing out scrolls. That's the fun part. But I still have to go back to the chicken dinner. But no, but anyway, it's just one of those things that you have to deal with, and so it is where it is, but it's more important. The easy thing, I tell people, the easy thing for me to do at this point in my career and this point in my elected office is to say, care, I'm not going to be here, but I feel like I got something invested in this thing. And we worked very, very hard over the years to be where we are. So I'm going to be the little noisemaker every once in a while about, sure we can pay for this? Just a little question, you have enough money in the checking account? Those kinds of things. So, but we're working together as a team down there, and we got a lot of work ahead of us. So before I get into some other specifics, I'm going to show you a video, right? A video right now? I'm following the script. How about that? No, I'm not? Okay, all right. Pretty close. There's going to be a video of some of the things that we've accomplished the past year. That young man over here, Andrew Weiss, just became a new daddy, by the way, is responsible for that. He wasn't born when I started with the county. Just want you to know that. And Cheryl Burnett back there, my communications director, responsible for that. So thank you both. It's so hard to follow the script, Cheryl. But anyway, a couple years ago, I sort of gave you a bucket list of the things that I'd sort of like to do. Yeah, that's part of it. I'm going to be in that movie. By the way, I did buy at an auction, I don't know if it was Pediatric Therapy Network, someplace, a walk-on part for Jersey Boys. I've never been so excited in all my life. I got paid $14 to go put my clothes on. I got paid another $12 to get my hair cut. And then I was this close to be Best Supporting Actor. And so we go to the premiere, right? And I'm telling my wife, I said, it's coming. Because I knew exactly where I sat at the counter and the coffee and the waitress and all this kind of stuff. And they're shooting right over here. And I got this shoulder in it, this ear. right? And so I'm thinking, it's going to be there. And I go, here it is. She goes, shh, honey, we're in the theater. And it wasn't. They took my shoulder and my ear out of the entire event. All right, that wasn't in the script, so keep going. Anyway, first one is LAX Connector. That's probably the project that I want an A on more than anything. Public transit to the front door of the airport. And it's a very complex project. We're working hard to get it moved up. I'm trying to be patient. The environmental reviews are underway. A design firm has been selected and has begun their work. We are aggressively seeking FTA and federal support. We've moved it up to 2023 versus the original 2028-29. So I really want an A on it, but more importantly, I want to see it done before I want to be around. All right. The other thing is the Green Line extension and NFL Stadium project. You hear the Rams are coming back. Yeah. And the great city of Inglewood's going to have a brand new stadium in 2019. In the meantime, they will be playing at the Coliseum for a few years. Last month, the Metro Board of Directors, we put forth a motion to explore the possibility of connecting Metro Rail to the stadium. And for any of those of you who've been to New York City and went to a game to either watch the Jets play or the Giants, you know, their trains just dead end right at the stadium. It's pretty cool. I mean, you may have to make a transfer too, but you eventually get there. Well, that's what I'd like to see since we're working with raw dirt there, that we have that opportunity. But we also have to be cognizant, and I just want you to know your mayor made several phone calls in this ear about the city of Torrance and the Torrance Transit Center. And so we made sure that we got it in there that makes sure that the city of Torrance is at the table. I mean, they will be at the table. Thank you, Mayor Fury, for your hard work, man. The other thing that impacts a lot of you, and that's business, doing business with the county. We contract out about $3 billion a year in services and different programs, from printing budgets to filling potholes to trimming trees, to do those kinds of things. And so, as many of you in this room know, that the majority of new jobs and jobs created here in Los Angeles County, over 60% are created by small business. Okay, and we just went through the issue of the minimum wage, which some of us had a major problem with, and knowing and understanding we're not going to really help the people we want to help because they're going to get pushed aside, but no one will ever know that. As small business tries to meet their bottom line, Chef Michael made several trips down to the Board of Supervisors to give us an earful. I mean, he served no food. But I appreciate him coming down to assist me and Donna and the team to the Torrance Bakery. Everyone came down to really help fight the fight. The cast was set, so we're going to have to deal with what we have to deal with, and obviously that's going to take place into 2019, 2020. But one of my main priorities has been to make it easier to do business with the county because we do so much. And so a lot of people have some great ideas, but they don't know where to start. So we created a motion I brought in to create a one-stop business concierge, so that through our office of the Department of Business and Consumer Affairs, we have an e-line, I think it's called e-concierge service, where somebody wants to know, so you don't have to run around all over to do. You can find a checklist to do this, to do that. Here's what I need. You don't have to worry about the county on this. You have to worry about your own city on this. Here's what you have to do for the county, that kind of thing. So it's up and running finally, and it's really a starting point for businesses as well as applying for county contracts. They're also hosting what we call Small Business Saturdays, events throughout the county where they educate and provide resources to entrepreneurs and how to set up a small business in the county or how to do business with the county. You can go on Knabe.com, and there'll be a link to find out all the details. Correct, Andrew? Because he does it. I don't know. If you see me on Facebook, it's not because of me, all right? I'm just saying. You want to tweet this afternoon? I'm probably tweeting right now, don't even know it. I was giving a speech someplace, and I get down, and a guy says, "You are amazing, Supervisor." I said, well, you just tweeted me a message, and you were up there talking. Thumbs up, man. So I asked my 13-year-old granddaughter what to do next. Well, also last year we said goodbye to legends like David Letterman and Jon Stewart and said hello to new TV titans. But constant throughout all this, I just want you to know my TV show, Dialed In with Don Knabe, is still alive and well. We have done over 30 shows. This last month, we did an entire episode dedicated to the horrific issue of human trafficking that goes on not only locally but throughout our nation and world. So we're planning some more great shows this year. Also, we'll be going to Sacramento, take our show on the road, and do some things up there with the governor and others. So it's a fun time. I really enjoyed doing it. I couldn't do it again without Andrew or Cheryl, but one of my hidden desires, I'm telling you something, this is just for the South Bay. I don't tell anybody else. I always wanted to be a disc jockey. And this is the closest that I can get, all right? But anyway, I really enjoyed doing the shows. And what we really did, the purpose that I've always wanted to do is, and then the chambers, like Torrance leadership, you guys always come down to the county. A lot of chambers and people, they know about Washington, they know about Sacramento. But you pick a letter between A and Z, and the county affects you some way, shape, or form. And so I really appreciate it. So I really focused on county issues on this show. It's museums, it's transportation, it's public works, it's healthcare, it's all the kinds of things that we do on a daily basis, and we try to do shows around that. I did have one good show where I had 3 former governors on it. I had Gray Davis, Pete Wilson, and George Duke Machen. Arnold wanted to be there, but he wanted his own show. He said, I couldn't do it. I said, Anyway, I meant well by that. If there are 2 issues that I have any opportunity in my career as a legacy, the 2 that I would want is, one is the fight against child sex trafficking and the Safe Surrender program. We have really continued our very aggressive efforts in the area of child sex trafficking and the exploitation of these young girls on the streets by these scumbag pimps. We work with law enforcement on a set of protocols that, for many years, the way they're treated is they get arrested, they go in front of the judge, and the judge says, well, young lady, you don't want to do this for the rest of your life. You get out of here. Slap them on the hand, and out the door they go from the courts. By the time they get out the door of the court, the scumbag pimps waiting for them in the parking lot. They're back on the streets that night. And many of these kids are our kids, foster care, probation, whatever it may be. And for the first time in their life, some thug comes up to them and says, you're the most beautiful young lady I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to make you a star. You come with me, and I'll buy you some new clothes, get your hair cut, put some makeup on. 4 hours later, they're in some scumbag motel getting the crap kicked on them, and that night they're back out on the street for the very first time selling their bodies. It's probably the most horrific thing that I've ever dealt with in my political career. So now, instead of taking them into custody with our law enforcement like we did in the past, we put them into a special dedicated courtroom. We have all the wraparound services and give them an opportunity for a new life. Give them the opportunity to have the services that they need, whether it be health care, whether it be mental health, whether it be housing, whatever it may be. And that's not easy, because once they are outed by their pimp, that means death. Once they are green-lighted by their pimp, that means death to them. But we've tested these protocols in Long Beach and Compton, and the results have been terrific. Before, nearly 75%, I believe, of the girls would run. They'd run back to their pimps. Now, thanks to this intense engagement and the opportunity to sort of change their life, only 1 out of 38 juveniles ran in the first 72 hours after they were rescued, which is absolutely astounding. So we're going in the right direction. But the one piece that bothers me that's really missing to all this is the demand side. And I'm on the demand side. I'm really going after them in any way I can. Because these men who buy young girls for sex should not be called anonymously Johns. You should call them what they are. They are child rapists. Hear me say that? They are child rapists. No more, no less. And so we've got an ordinance that we're working on to try to launch a John shaming program. It's been worked in other parts of the country. If you remember, a number of years ago, I did that child support thing. We were having a problem. We had the top 10 most wanted child support people. Mother-in-laws are calling in on their son-in-laws. What do you mean? Shaming works. And I hope we'll be able to get this. We're working very closely with the district attorney. and in the final stages of being able to put an ordinance together to make that happen. On a happier note, as I was introduced, 2015 was the most successful year we've had in the Safe Surrender program since 2001. We had 18 lives saved last year. 18 lives. Bringing that total to 142. We've had celebrations of 100 saves, and we did 125. We planted a Garden of Life downtown in Grand Park, where we invited the families and kids back, and they got to put little plants in there and dig them, and all that kind of stuff, and then eat pizza, and it was just like a bunch of siblings, and it's really a special time. I was just a week ago Sunday, I was on Adrian Alpert, and we had a family that had a baby. I've known her since she's a baby, and now she's like 8 years old or something like that. And so we had them on the program with Adrian, and they highlighted the whole area of Safe Surrender. As was mentioned, I am doing a scholarship program for them, for these Safe Surrender babies, and so we work very hard at raising that money, because we're going to, in a couple of years, we're going to see 15, so it's not going to be long, and some of these kids are going to be eligible for college. And it's just hard to understand or believe or think about the fact that someone could be so desperate, that they didn't have a family friend or a relative that they could talk to. They get pregnant in secret, they hide the secret, then they want to throw the secret away. And when you see the joy in the eyes of these young kids at these parties that we do, the joy of the family and their siblings and getting along, arguing, pretty cool even when they argue, just like home, right? But to me, I'm always remember to say to all of you, I adore these families and I adore these kids, but I'm also so proud of the 142 women who had the guts and courage to do the right thing. I mean, some of these babies, and they know, they're this close to a trash can or a lake or an ocean or something like that, and these women have the right sense of mind, that moment in time to do no name, no shame, no blame. Mom has to cross the threshold of any fire station, police station, any hospital, submits the baby, has to get through the threshold. You can't leave it in the parking lot. Baby gets a ban, mama gets a ban. Mama has 14 days to reclaim the baby if she wants. That's happened twice out of the 142 saves. So you have this opportunity. Baby gets health care, mama gets health care. So we've had a couple fathers that have done it, and so it's been a blessing. So it's a great program, one that I'm working to endow some way to make sure it keeps going. I think we've got the fire department and the hospitals and everybody on board that they don't really need me anymore. This program is going to be alive and well long after I leave office. But as you know, and I said earlier, shortly I'm entering my final year as supervisor for all of you in the 4th District. Obviously, this brings up a variety of thoughts and emotions. That one emotion that I won't miss probably is I get to pick and choose which chicken dinners I go to. I hate to keep reminding all of you, but at last count, it's 5,962 chicken dinners or lunches that I have attended. And that's just approximate, okay? Every kind of frickin' sauce you can imagine, Just give me a piece of meat. But seriously, I think my biggest concern is what happens to the programs that we've been working on these 20 years. We've done a lot of good things with the help of a lot of people, a lot of you in this room, colleagues on the Board of Supervisors, colleagues in the cities that I represent. And so I thought long and hard about who and what I wanted to fill this seat, because it is important to me. I can't just walk away. And so, I'm proud, and I've said this publicly, and he knows it, to endorse my Senior Deputy, Steve Napolitano, to be the next supervisor for the 4th District. I know he will continue to much of what we talked about today, because if he doesn't, I'm coming after him. But seriously, fiscal responsibility, nonpartisan problem solving, and protecting the most vulnerable. Steve has been with me for 10 years and understands the importance and complexities of local government. He is a former council member and mayor of the city of Manhattan Beach. As a former mayor myself, I know how important that's been to my values of leadership here at the County Board of Supervisors, and working with the cities that are within the confines of the 4th District. It's hands-on. You can't run to Sacramento, you can't run to Washington. As I said earlier, there's no Democratic, Republican, independent, or partisan way to do any of the things that we have to do on the local level. We have to deal with the everyday needs of our constituents. Representing me, he represented me here in Torrance, but 7 other communities here in the 4th District. He shared my commitment to delivering top service to all of our residents. You've heard me say it before, I want my office to be the Nordstroms of the 8th floor. As I said earlier, people don't call us to say thank you. They call us because they're hurting. And if we're able to fix a problem, what about the person that doesn't know how to contact a Board of Supervisors office? So let's find something, a solution. Safe surrender was one of those. So Steve will be ready to go to lead on day 1. He's been involved, like I say, in virtually every aspect of our operations and has, most importantly, the experience, the knowledge, and a vision to serve Los Angeles County in a very prudent, knowledgeable, super integrity, talented leader. His only weakness is he's a lawyer. To all the lawyers in the room, I was just kidding. I mean, easy. All right. I'm still looking for that one-armed attorney. On the other hand, right, Steve? Yeah, come on, man. Got to release it up here, buddy. Okay. But I truly am honored to support him and endorse him, doing everything I can to make sure he gets elected, and would ask you, if you could, find it in your heart to join me in supporting him. So, wow, where do I go from here? I've spoken today about the need for government to solve problems and not just point fingers at each other. Unfortunately, you're all seeing this election time can really bring out the worst. The unwillingness to work together, to admit mistakes, to look at facts, to change course, and of course admit mistakes at times, and the intense and combative partisanship that we're having to deal with locally, nationally, and statewide. And it really is so divisive, and I hear it so much, and I think you're seeing some results in early elections for a president that reflect the tenacity and the concern that the electorate has about solving problems. But we can't celebrate that kind of behavior. And this county, this state, this nation is too big and too great to stand around and just shout at each other. Politics, at this point in my life, I got to say, my proud profession should be the art of problem solving. And rather than yelling sellout every time you have to give a little to get a little to solve a problem. It's a lot more to life than saying sellout. We can have unity without uniformity, and we can disagree without being disagreeable. That's life lessons. It's no different than any of you that try to put a meeting together when people are on opposite sides. When they say things about other people on the phone, they're pretty tough. Put them in a room, sit them down. Somehow they seem to work things out. So it's very important. So politics to me is the process of making decisions amid many, many different opinions on any given Tuesday. It involves conversation, listening, balancing valid but competing, and it's so much more than just being bombastic. Teddy Roosevelt once said that complaining about a problem without proposing a solution is called whining. Right? That was way back when, man. I was on the pony, dude. Right? And to all of you, it certainly, and we know this, certainly isn't any kind of leadership. I was reading the other day about a young entrepreneur who recently said, leadership does not need to be dramatic. I want to get this right because it was so important. I wrote it down. Fist in the air, trumpets blaring. Leadership comes from integrity, that you do whatever you ask others to do. Just by providing a good example as a parent, a friend, a neighbor, we can make it possible for other people to see a better way to do things. Every day, we all have that choice. We can jump on the bandwagon of division, or we can join the bandwagon to be a builder of families, neighborhoods, communities, and most importantly, we can commit to being a builder of bridges, not walls. Folks, this was the dreaded paragraph. This is probably my last time addressing you all as a group. As your supervisor. It's been an honor to work with all of you over the years, from fighting to save the Air Force Base, to supporting small business. You've been incredible partners and supporters of me and my family and my office. I am forever grateful. I thank you for allowing me to represent you. May God bless you. May God bless our troops. And may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Supervisor Knabe, I think the turnout here today reflects what the Torrance area thinks of you, how much they admire you, how much they respect you, how much they appreciate your commitment to so many years of remarkable public service. You know, at Toyota, I've always told our folks, the mantra by which I run my department is that there is no substitute for showing up. And wherever we are, you are there, or a member of your staff is there. And so I know that same commitment to being there, to being in front of your constituents, mattered to you as well. And speaking personally, I've known you for many years, and I appreciate your support, your mentorship, your friendship. And so on behalf of everybody sitting here in the Greater Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, it is my honor and privilege to present to you this little gift. It is a gift certificate from Chef Schaefer at the Depot. And there are also 2 cigars in here. Now the 2 are significant, because what I would like you to do is hold these, one for you and one for Steve, and they'll be the victory cigars at the next election. So,
And there's keys to a new Prius. Couldn't resist, man, huh? That's very kind, thank you. I want a picture with the big guy. When I retire, I'm going to get shoes like his.
Well, I just had to come up and say a few words. It'll only take about 45 minutes to an hour, so don't worry about it. No. Over the past 20 or so years that I've been here, I've felt that I was being stalked by this gentleman, because every time I was at an event, I'd either see him or someone from his office, like you were saying. And I've seen the work and the commitment that he's put forth to the South Bay, and the personal support that he's given me in my way of reaching out to the community and helping this wonderful community that we live in. You mentioned that you're going to retire and you're looking for another career. I'll always have dishes to wash for you. I'm a giver. And you also were very concerned about the chicken dinner, and Steve, he doesn't eat chicken. He's a pescatarian, so he doesn't have to worry about that either. But on a serious note, I can't thank you enough for all the support that you've given me in the South Bay, and please be happy, be happy, be happy. Like it says here on my jacket, it says, live well, love much, and laugh often. And it's sort of a mantra that I live by, and I wanted to say thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. You almost got run over there.
And Supervisor, you mentioned something in your speech about leadership Torrance and them, the participants coming down to LA for County Day. Today we are honored to have this year's Leadership Torrance class. So Directors Dom and Dave, I'd like for you to stand with your class, please. Or the participants. Thank you, and if you'll remain standing, all others in the room that went through Leadership's Torrance, will you please stand? Thank you all, and thank you, Supervisor, for always welcoming our class in LA and spending time with them. And here is a little gift that Lori and Bob Brandt brought you to. Oh, don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. This is from Red Car Brewery to you.
Red Car Brewery.
Have you been there before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you will be soon.
I will be soon.
Okay. The Torrance Chamber of Commerce always tries to do things a little bit different than the normal as far as recognition gifts. And this year, staff got together and decided that we wanted to send Supervisor Knabe out on a good note of memories with letters and photos from local businesses and of pictures throughout the year. So he reminds me a little bit about of Kobe Bryant right now. He's out on tour saying goodbye to everybody. He shared with me today that he is being honored tonight at LA Coastal Chamber of Commerce. Tomorrow he's in Cerritos. I already know he's been in Long Beach and several other places. So hopefully, Supervisor, you'll really enjoy all the letters of thank you that are included in this notebook or in this scrapbook. And I just, not to be nosy, but I picked some words out of the letters that I thought really displayed your characteristics: ethical, integrity, unflagging commitment, administrative talents, passion, compassion, supporter of the business community, tremendous friend, safe surrender, leader. And I think one of the best that I really enjoyed, somebody said, "I've always thought of you as Superman Knabe, not Supervisor Knabe." So thank you so much. Hope you enjoy that.
Thank you. Can I save this list and share it with my wife? Thank you. Be 48 years in 2 weeks. All right.
Well, I have the impossible task of closing a program that leaves us all better for having been here today. And so I'll just share, many of you know my husband and I have a passion for ridiculously long distance running. And there's a mantra in the world of ultra running. And I'm going to make it a little more PC than we probably say it on the trail. But it says simply, do epic stuff. And I think the challenge to all of us in this room is in the life example of Supervisor Knabe, do epic stuff. That which you are passionate about, that which is right to do, that which you believe in, however epic it might be, go for it. And so I thank you, Supervisor Knabe, for the example that you leave us and that you're going to continue on through your final year, for the challenge that you leave us with to carry all those things forward, and the personal challenge for each of us to find those things that we can personally impact. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And so just a couple quick thank yous, because there are many people that had a part in making today possible. Again, thank you to all of our business sponsors for your participation in making today possible. Thank you to Linda Amato and the incredible Doubletree staff for taking care of us. Daily Breeze and Torrance City Cable 3 for covering the event and sharing it with those who couldn't be here. And Gilbert Watson of Mobile Visual Entertainment for providing the AV equipment for all the great stuff we saw on screen. That was an incredible addition to the program today. Thank you. And Steve Coy of Clicks for taking photos throughout the event, which again will help us share what took place today with those who weren't here and probably make additional scrapbooks. And then final thanks to Donna Dupron and the incredible staff of the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce who always put their heart and soul into making these really impactful and incredible events. You guys are amazing. Thank you. And everyone have a great afternoon. Thanks for coming.